Good morning, good morning, good morning. And welcome back to the Operation Hill 100 Heart channel where we do what? Focus on healing, humor, and hot motherfucking topics. What's up, you nosy bitch? What is up? Because if you here, I know why you here. Because you just like me, you a nosy ass bitch, which I love. You are here because you are tuned into the Dear DJ segment of my channel where we read these letters and we get these folks together. Ladies and gentlemen, please go hit the thumbs up on this video. Hit the thumbs up on this video immediately. It's your free way of supporting my channel. And let's get into these folks' business. All right. Dear Deja, my girl started her own business during the pandemic and that shit has been booming ever since. I'm so proud of and happy for her. Within the last year, she has been traveling with her business and my girl is all over. Sometimes I'm able to accompany her. Other times I stay behind to handle my own business. Last week, my girl had a last-minute trip, but this time it was out of the country to the Cayman Islands. I've never been, so I was willing to drop everything to accompany her on this trip because going on vacation is one of my favorite things to do. My girl basically told me in so many words I wasn't invited. I was taken aback, but I was not about to go on a trip with a person who I feel doesn't want me there, so I kindly uninvited myself. She tried to make it seem as though I was overreacting and in my feelings because I was on my period, but my feelings were hurt because she didn't want to take me. But I guess she didn't care too much because she boarded that plane without a thought the very next day. She was there 5 days, and if I spoke to her twice, I spoke to her a lot. She claimed that her cell phone service was bad over there. Upon return, she must have felt bad for not taking me because she came bearing gifts. She knows the way to my heart. The next day, while she was out handling business, I was about to do laundry and decided to unpack her suitcase for her to get her dirty clothes for the laundry. Well, tucked away underneath her skincare products was a 3-pack box of condoms with only one left in the pack. I couldn't breathe. Deja, these are condoms made for men. We are in a lesbian relationship and we don't use them shits anyway. So not only did my girl cheat on me, but with a man? And why did she keep the box and not whoever she cheated with? This shit is weird and disrespectful. I've been holding on to this information for 48 hours and I'm about to explode. Please help ASAP sign. What would happen if I commit a crime of passion? Well, alrighty then. Let me take a sip of my drink like I always do. I know I drink my water with my eyes. I know I love it. Okay. First off, let's not commit a crime, right? Let's not commit a crime, right? I don't think that's the best route, right? First off, I wonder how long were you lovely ladies in a relationship, and prior to, how long were you guys together? I mean, friends, right? Because I feel like in romantic relationships, contingent upon the time that you've been together, you pretty much know your spouse. You pretty much know your spouse, right? So some things it would be like, yeah, you that's possible. That's in your wheelhouse. And then other things is just like, no, you're going to have to give me something else, right? So like, I'll give you an example. If I showed up to Pookie's job, right? And the receptionist in the lobby didn't have the best attitude, right? And they said, Pookie, your woman was out there gathering the receptionist, right? Pookie could believe that. Pookie could 100% believe that because Deja is not mean and she doesn't have a bad attitude, but she also is not hesitant to let a motherfucker know how she feels. That's in her wheelhouse. So she probably did do that. But if they said Deja was outside smoking weed, Pookie would be like, no, Deja wasn't. No, Deja wasn't. Deja ain't smoking no weed. You know what I'm saying? So there's things that's in your that you know for a fact might be within the realm of who your spouse is, and then there's certain things that just seem impossible. What I saw didn't happen with your letter was that I didn't see the thoughts I didn't get, right, because I'm not seeing anything, right? I didn't get from your letter that you felt like this was impossible. I felt like you were hurt that she cheated. I felt like you thought she was stupid about the way she did it, right? But I didn't get like, I know Sandra, I'll just say, because I don't know her name, ain't messing with no man. You know what I'm saying? So I would have to ask, how long have you known this woman? You know, because is this something that she might be capable of or not? You know, and I think that's the first question you should ask yourself before you even approach her, right? The number one thing that I always share with people, and I'll stand 10 toes down in it, is that communication is important and communication is key in every relationship. The relationship that you want to see flourish and grow and work is the relationship that you communicate in. The only time I've opted out of communicating if it was a relationship that I didn't want no parts of anymore. But any time that I cared about the relationship and I wanted it to work, I made sure I communicated. And that's what needs to happen here. Because we as women, it's very hard for us to hide our emotions. And like you said, you've already been sitting on this information for 48 hours. I'm pretty sure y'all ain't in there humping down and acting like it's regular. I know you in there giving much toot up and, you know, doing little funny things and probably even being distant and not staying home as much to avoid seeing her. Because you know your head is going to fly the fuck off, okay? So I think that you need to have the conversation. Now, if it's been 48 hours, that means she's aware that you unpacked the suitcase, right? And if she's aware that she unpacked the suitcase and she's the person who put the condoms there, then I'm almost sure she knows you've seen them. So she's not oblivious. She's aware. So you guys need to just have the conversation anyway. I think you need to figure out what your next steps are before you have the conversation. Are you in a marriage where cheating is not the end or be all and you guys will be able to work through this? Are you in a situation where if you even think that a person cheats on you, then it's over? Are you in a situation where sometimes some things go? I think you need to factor in what is your next steps. I remember going through a situation in my own relationship and then being able to say, like, I want to get to the bottom of this, but I don't plan on leaving this individual. And because I knew what next steps were, when we got through the conversation that needs to be had, then we moved on to the next steps. Because I think a lot of times when things are up in limbo, it kind of creates confusion about what we're going to do moving forward. And you want to be clear with your spouse. But I also know sometimes that folks don't know what they're going to do until they hear what took place. So, I think you need to have the conversation. Right? What I will say is, going into the conversation, you are requesting information. Do not approach the situation as though you're requesting information that you already know. Okay? And the reason why I say that is because when folks are or are not, but I'm just going to use are not, is not, right, for lack of a better term. When folks are not guilty of something and you accuse them of such, it makes their motherfucking blood boil, right? I did not do nothing. So stop telling me what I did. Bitch, were you there? Right? So because you're going in requesting information, you have to allow that person to give you the information. Because if you go in it like, bitch, I already know you was in there sucking dick, but I just want to hear if you want to tell me the truth, you're going to act as such, and that's going to set off and trigger the other person. You're not looking to do that. You're looking to resolve this problem, whatever the resolution is. So going in it like you already know she fucked somebody, the only response you're going to get from that is, so why are you asking me? If you already know this, why are you asking me? So you have to step back and approach the situation from a space of, I'm requesting information. I'm requesting because I was not there. I do not know. Right? Now, when she shares the information, you want to make sure that the information is in alignment with the facts. That's usually what get folks jammed up. When a person is lying, that's usually what get folks jammed up. When the information that they're trying to get you to take in is not lining up with what the fuck really took place that you know. Right? So like case in point, that's just like somebody saying, that's just like, I left you in a room with my pocketbook. When I returned, some money was missing out my pocketbook. I wasn't in that room. Sweetie, that's a fact. That's a Snapple fact. That part is a fact. So for you to tell me, I'm not saying you went in my purse. I didn't see that part. But for you to tell me that you weren't even in the room when I know I left you in there with it, I physically see that's come on. So now if your lady goes to share her information with you and she either omits the fact that the condoms was in the bag, or whatever she tries to make it seem like about those condoms being in that bag, the bottom line is they were there. So some explanation has to be offered about why they were there. Now, I've heard situations where you hear this. I don't know how they got in there. So then that brings up another line of questioning. Well, who packed your suitcase? You know, and these questions will take you guys down a rabbit hole of what is really going on. And I think you need to be prepared to hear either something you can take or something you can't take. And in receiving this information, I need you to think about what you need to do that's best for you. You know, sometimes we get in these relationships and we have these needs, and sometimes our needs are only 3-4 things, right? I need support. I need stability. You know, sometimes our needs are only 3-4 things. And sometimes even with that short list of needs, a motherfucker still can't make sure that they're met. And when you are in a situation where you have needs and the other person cannot meet them, then you are in a wrong situation, my dear. I'm sorry. And we as women can't lose ourselves in that situation just for the sake of being in it. I always tell this funny story. Pookie will kill me, but I'll tell it anyway, right? One of my needs is communication. I need to communicate. Now, I can communicate on 1 billion, right? Pookie can communicate on 0.1. And in all fairness to him, yeah, we can talk, but for him, it's like, Khadija, this constant talking, I don't need to do all that. You sucking dick? Like, what? I'm kidding. But you know what I mean? He's not really king communicator, but he understands that I'm queen communicator. So because I know I can communicate on 100, and I know he can communicate on 50, I don't mind meeting him halfway in the middle, right? I don't mind that. I do not mind that. What I mind is when you don't want to communicate at all. And I remember we had been living together about 90 days at this point. And remember, I gave all my needs from the beginning. And it was a conversation that came up, and it's a conversation that we didn't agree on. And for me, because we don't agree about the situation, we need to kind of communicate through it to see if we could get to a middle ground. But for him, it was just like, well, listen, that conversation is over and done because we just can't agree. So he said he wasn't talking about it. I'm sorry? So, in turn, I said, okay, you're not. So what I did was I talked. And it was about 10:46 in the evening. I talked to 6 a.m. And every time Pookie dozed off, I tapped him. You sleep? I hope not, because I'm still speaking since you can't. Okay? And then we both had to go to work the next day, and we both were horrified and mortified, especially him, because he felt like that was so unnecessary and made absolutely no fucking sense that I would really sit there and do that. But the bottom line is, when it all boils down to it and we got to have the conversation, which I was trying to do from the beginning, my whole thing was, that's what I need. So if you are not willing to fulfill my needs, then I'm in the wrong situation. Granted, since then we communicate on 1 million now. Go Pookie. But that's because he was willing to do the work to help meet my needs, and vice versa. and vice versa. But when a person cannot give you what you need, not your luxuries, your necessities, then you're in the wrong situation. And if you ask this young lady about these condoms being in her bag, and it's something that you need that's not coming out of that situation, like honesty or respect, then you have to really, really second guess if you're in the right situation. I would have to ask where the trust is between the two of you. Where's the trust? Where's the trust? If she says something like, I don't know how them condoms got in there, is that something that you can actually believe? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that something that's the truth? Can you believe what she's saying? Or is it something that you would have to second guess? You know, if you're going to go into this situation already, like I said, knowing what you know and all of the above, then it's not going to go well. So, like I said, once she shares with you whatever information she has for you, because that's what you requested, at that point, you have to make a decision. Is it information that you can trust? Does she need to verify this information for you to believe it? If you don't believe it, can you guys move on together? If you don't believe it, do you need to separate? If you do believe it, can you guys genuinely get past this? Because oh no, it's not a marriage, it's a relationship. I'm sorry, you said my girl, not my wife. I'm so sorry, you did say my girl, not my wife. You know, so you have to be open to getting what you need and then making the best decision for you and your relationship. Once again, like I said from the beginning, is this something that she could have done? Is she bisexual and has slept with women in the past and slept with men in the past? Is this something that's in her wheelhouse? Do you guys invite males into your bedroom? Do you know where a situation like this could come from? Is she reliable and truthful enough to be honest with you? Do you trust her? You know, these are real questions that I would be asking you on Operation Heal 100 Heart sessions, because we need to get down to the root of if there's something wrong in a relationship. Because if it is, then of course people are going to lie and cheat and do whatever they need to do. And it's a deeper issue if there's something wrong in a relationship. Because I tell everybody, right? Cheating is one thing, right? Cheating is one thing. But when there is a cause or reason behind the person being disconnected from you, right? You want to get to the bottom of what that is, because you're trying to stay connected. I know most times us as women, we're so emotional and in our head about cheating that it's like, it's just the fact that you did it. How dare you? But I remember asking, you know, in my relationship prior to this one, you know, when and where did we disconnect? And the person flat out told me, when did we connect? I'm sorry? Because I didn't know we weren't connected. He said, of course you didn't. You just think about what you got going on, what you like to do. Shit that goes your way. You're not thinking about what I want, what I got going on, but you just assume because you're happy, I'm happy. So you talk about when we disconnected, bitch, when did we connect? I said, ooh, child. Right? But that was a very valid thing to say, you know, and that also was a very valid emotion that I wasn't aware of. You know? They see new DJ, I'm on a dope bitch. Like, I'm not thinking about, listen, look like you having a good time. I know I am, so it's lit. Is it now? Right? So I think having the conversation of, is something wrong in our relationship before we even get to who you fucked them, why you fucked them, if you fucked them, right? What's going on with me and you? Because another part of that is, you said in the letter that, you know, she basically was trying to make sure that you didn't accompany her on this trip. So if she did cheat, that means she was planning to cheat. That's why she wanted you to stay home. And that's a deeper conversation, because if you're planning and being adamant about setting this up, somewhere me and you ain't right. And I want to get to the bottom of that. Now, if we get to the bottom of that, you still want to go out and hump and jump, then maybe you need to be a single bitch. But I think if you guys can get to the bottom of y'all disconnect, then it would help y'all reconnect, and she wouldn't try to be so connected to other people. But that's only if you ladies are willing to do the work. That's only, I promise you, that's only if you ladies are willing to do the work. It can't be you coming in and saying and doing everything and her just chilling, or her coming in and saying and doing everything, and it has to be that you guys are equally invested in doing the work to make your relationship work after you figure out what is this. Because it may not even be anything. But you won't know until you ask. Right? And the only way to do that is to what? Communicate. So, my dear, you need to get started on that ASAP. All right. If you would like to have your one-on-one session prior to you going to communicate, I totally understand. You might need to, right? Because I do not want a crime of passion. I want to be at the lesbian wedding. I've never been to one, right? So listen here, my dear. Come get your session and we'll work this out. We'll work this out. Out of this situation, you will become a better woman. On your healing journey, you will become a better woman. That's just what I do. In any event, ladies and gentlemen, please hit the thumbs up on this video. Letter writer, I love you and thank you for being so transparent in your letter. All my new and old subbies, I'm happy to have you here with your nosy asses. But we getting to the bottom of this and we saving and changing and transforming folks' lives through healing, and I can appreciate that. In any event, my dear, you guys enjoy your day and tune into the next Dear DJ. Mwah. I think I got it this time. Let's see. I hate this thing.